Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans in particular. This is the time travelling toy collector welcoming you back to the channel, and this is the Hero Collector Cybermaster figure from the Doctor Who Figurines range. Now, many of you will be aware that I don't collect Doctor Who figurines from the Hero Collector range, the Eagle Moss and Hero Collector range. That's still true, but you may also be aware that I recently started to pick up the Doctor Who Parliament of the Daleks sets 1 and 2, which each contain 10 iterations of Daleks from across time. And I was particularly taken with that, so I did suggest it might happen, and it has. I've now ventured into the Doctor's other greatest range of enemies, the Cybermen, and this is one of the most recent iterations, chronologically speaking. It's a Cybermaster. They were the Cybermen allegedly created by the Master on a burnt out and destroyed Gallifrey, where the Master essentially used Time Lord DNA and bodies to reconstitute the parts of Cybermen to, in essence, make them indestructible. But that's enough plot lines. Let's take a look at the figure. To be honest, this was one of the figures that I nearly broke my own rules for anyway from the beginning, because I think the intricacy of the work on the detailing. I'm going to just pick him up and let you have a close look at this head sculpt. It's really impressive. Look at the detailing on that collar. It really captures the Time Lord collar style anyway, but here it is attached to a cyber head, and I think that's particularly a very impressive piece of casting in terms of figure casting. The rest of the body design, as you can see there, is really quite good. Obviously it doesn't have any articulation. This isn't an action figure. It is pure and simply a cast figurine, but it does also have this lovely cape or cloak, if you prefer, that really has a sense of fabric to it. It isn't obviously fabric. It's molded in plastic and resin like the whole figure, but you can see down to the feet, up the sort of almost suit of armor in a very literal sense, sort of body style there. The arm mounted gun that we see there, the gauntlets there. And what was borrowed heavily from the iteration of the Cybermen that came just before this one was which were the Cyber Warriors, is this sense of plated body armor. So we've got this sort of spiky attachments on the shoulders there. I really like this figure. Now again, my criticism in the past has always been that I don't think they do figurines as well as they do some of their larger scale pieces of work. I'm just zooming out slightly so you can sort of really take that whole figure in. But I think this is a really lovely piece of work from Hero Collector. They retail at around about £10 per individual figure. There are different ranges and different collections, but I have to say, I think the detailing here is really something excellent. I'm just going to turn it around slowly so you can get to taking the entirety of the figure. I think there's a real sense of movement and life in that cloak. There's detailing around the back of the head, where the cyber helmet is completed, so it doesn't really matter what angle you're looking at this figure. There's a very clear cyber silhouette to it in terms of its stance, and again you can see on the back of the gauntlet area there a few more of those barbed areas that you really don't want to have to get into hand-to-hand combat with these guys. It won't end well, let's put it that way. So this particular figure, as you can see, I've got the sort of capsule that it comes in here, much like the Daleks. It's a translucent pod that has a cardboard backing, and was figure 194, Cybermaster, and as it first appeared in the episode The Timeless Children, up against the 13th iteration of the Doctor. Now, I'm not here to review the episodes or discuss the plot lines, but anyone who's a fan of Doctor Who or following the stories will know that it was quite a divisive finale for that season. But it did give us these very impressive looking scene-stealing Cybermen, and I really do. I was going to say I really regret not collecting them earlier. That's not necessarily true, but I really am glad that I got through the Daleks and got into this figurine range again. Just to come in close and let the light catch that figure, so you can really see the detailing on the face. It has a fascinatingly grumpy, downward turning mouth. Historically, the Cybermen, of course, have tended to have either a slit for a mouth, nothing particularly emotive, but this actually does have, much like its on-screen counterpart, a downward facing mouth, and the eyes have centrally placed, I don't call them tear ducts, but there are ducts that appear on most of the Cyber designs that are in the corner of their eyes, on the outward corner of the eyes. Here, I don't know if you can see how well you can see it. I'll try and keep it in focus. They form the central part of the eye, so they literally drop down. I'm just giving you different shadows and shading, because again, at the moment, speaking at the back end of 2021, Character Options, who produce action figures for the Doctor Who range, haven't produced a Cybermaster figure, which I think is a huge shame. And again, another reason that I was drawn to this one from Hero Collector, forgive me, is because I think it's a really interesting design. The fusion of Gallifreyan culture and the cyber race. I think it's a fascinating thing to look at. So I really enjoyed getting my hands on this piece. They stand around about 7 to 8 centimeters tall. They're on quite a nice base. For those who have not seen any of these out and about, they come with a nice clear sticker detailing the identity of the figurine. And yeah, they're really well detailed. Again, I would stress, for me, they're well detailed on this kind of robotic alien structure. I'm not quite so keen on the more humanoid, humanesque figurine detailing. That I don't feel is necessarily as great consistently as I would perhaps like it to be. But this is really great. Again, it's relatively fragile, so I wouldn't want to sort of use it as a toy particularly, but it does make for a very striking piece, and I look forward very much to collecting the Cybermen figures. They have quite a few, so I'll try to get my hands on them. I think there are also a couple of evolution of the Cybermen, I think I'm calling it the right thing, box sets that they produce, so I'll keep my eye out for those in any upcoming sales, because again, they're very good at putting their figures on sale and knocking some cash off the total. So if you are interested in picking up Doctor Who figurines, particular ones, you can buy them individually on their website, the Hero Collector website, through their shop. You don't just have to subscribe and get the figures as and when they're released, which would have been my downfall, because I would have done exactly that had I started collecting at the beginning. So I'm quite glad now to be collecting these figures and going back in time to pick them up as and when they're in stock. There's a couple that I'm interested in at the moment that are out of stock, so I'm very much hoping, I've registered to be notified when they're back in, and I'm very much hoping that it won't take too long for them to get back in stock. But in the meantime, I shall make do with what I've been able to purchase, because I'm really happy with them. So yes, this is a Cybermaster figure. There's not too much more I can say. Really, this is just to show you the quality of the sculpt and the build, which gives you a chance really to see whether or not you think there's a place for the Cybermaster figurine in your collection or collections. Hopefully this video has been able to answer that for you and give you that opportunity. If so, please do hit the like button. I won't keep you too long on this one. There's not too much to show off, so do hit the like button. Equally, you might want to hit subscribe and also the notification button so you never miss an opportunity to see any upcoming cyber reviews or explorations of other Daleks or other figures in general or other toys in general, particularly if you have anything of interest. And maybe you want to check out my Dalek and Doctor Who playlists on the channel, because there might be something there that grabs your interest and tickles your fancy. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me for the last 11 or so minutes. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You have been a fantastic audience, and this has been the Hero Collector Cybermaster figure from the Timeless Children episode as part of their Doctor Who Figurine Collection. I very much look forward to seeing you again on a future video. So until then, take care, and remember that a thing of beauty really can be a toy forever. Bye for now.